I'll see if anybody will come over. Hello. Sorry about all the zigzagging around. I finally got the chat room to work because live doesn't work real good without having a chat. So it took me 3 tries. There was something wrong with it. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but I had this happen to me the other night on my other channel too. So I think they're messing with me. I apologize. I hope everybody who was on the just the last one there that I had to end, I hope they come over too. Was you on the last one? There you go. Hey, how everybody doing? Can you give me a thumbs up in chat if it's working? Because that's the whole idea of all this jumping around. With the error, it would not let me have a chat room. So, live is no good without chat, in my opinion. So I apologize for that, for having this keep switching. Can I get a thumbs up from somebody? See if this thing's working. There we go. How y'all doing? I'm sure there probably would have been more people in here because there was 6 in the last one. Hey, Janice, how you doing? Like I was saying, I apologize for all this. There's no way of me knowing how to fix the error in the chat and leave the old stream left open. I even tried going into their little help thing and it wouldn't do nothing for me. So anyways, this is my first night owl version of my live streams, and I want to try to do this because I tend to be up all hours of the night. So I figure there's like-minded people like me who can't sleep, or if they're a different part of the country or world where the hours are different. So this 1 o'clock in the morning doesn't seem too crazy for most people. But I got to be on a live stream tomorrow at 6:30 in the afternoon. Plus, I'm doing car content in the morning at the garage. So it's supposed to rain the day after today. So, which is tomorrow because today's today. You know what I mean. So, where's everybody from? Janice, I can't remember where you're from. I'm sorry. Farm wife, I don't think I've ever talked to you before. Where's everybody else from who's in here? Missouri. That's right, Janice, California. Yeah, so you're 3 hours. Yeah, 3 hours behind. So it's like close to your bedtime, or do you stay up late like the rest of us? I think every time I talk to you late, it's been super late. No, I get you the first time, farm wife, misery. Yeah, it's guys, I hope this works. I like to continue to do this because I do stay up all hours of the night. I usually drop my videos between 2:30 and 4 a.m. in the morning because that's the best time for me to edit, clear mind it. Everything else goes with that. So, I don't know how many people show up. I just scheduled this, what was it, 2 days ago? Yeah, Sunday, I think it was. So hopefully, if this goes well, I'll continue to do this. And it may not be on Tuesday or Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, however you look at it. I kind of ask everybody in chat, as Janice knows, I like to get my advice from you guys to tell me what to do to keep going forward. What do you like? And even though it's a car channel and it's late at night, we can talk about anything. As Janice knows, I kind of ramble on and just talk about everything. I went to a wedding this weekend, one of my granddaughters. I'm hoping on my part 2 of my video that I just posted yesterday in my car content, I hope to post some pictures from the wedding in that video. If I can get them edited in, we'll see. My stories are good. Yeah, just depends on where you want to go from where we left off. I think I was I was 10 years old, I think, the last time where we ended off on my stories. I think we were all about the moms and dads back in the day, ass whoopings. None of this puts you in the corner stuff. We got ass whoopings back in the day. But it just depends on what everybody wants to talk about. I got some ideas. I posted a video today for those who like the car content. I don't know if you know who the Street Racing channel is. I was kind of like in awe, or just it blew me away that they subscribed to my channel this past week, and it kind of makes me feel good that and they're famous YouTube channel for cars. So I put out a little request because they're like about an hour and 15 minutes for me. They don't typically like people to show up and just ask to hang out in their garage or anything with them. So I asked a request as a fan if I could go over there and do that and probably make some content out of it. But that's all car stuff. Did y'all see this week where they're going to do a national emergency broadcast system test? I forget. I think it's like 2:30 today, nationwide. Anybody see that? Or I've got the news outlet. I got it on my phone. I get these news outlets from a guy that is pretty good. He stays on top of this government conspiracy stuff, but they're all factual stuff. He just adds his little twist in there about why he thinks they're doing what they're doing. Of course, we all have our own little theories on that. I got a guy on the car content. Dude reached out to me. He's got a Jeep down in Kentucky, and he needs somebody to do some sheet metal work on it. And although I told him, I got to get my car at least rolling out in and out of the garage before I can even think about working on somebody else's stuff. So he's cool with that. So I got a Jeep coming my way here about the end of the first week second week of November. And that's kind of cool. This YouTube channel bringing me a little business, although it's my kind of business because I ain't in no hurry. Because those of y'all who know me, I tend to get hurt a lot because of my body. And then I have these little gaps between my videos as far as car content. But I see 2 of y'all. Let me know where you're from. I lost somebody. See, that's what happens when I ramble sometimes, guys and girls. Yeah, they don't want to hear it. So that's why I ask y'all what y'all want to talk about. Because I don't have nothing planned. I mean, we talked about prepping last time and about they're demonizing the president, former president of the Hitler thing, which probably ain't going to work. But I think they're doing it because they want to do the 14th Amendment, Article 2 on him, which ain't going to work. Lachlan and what's that all about, Janice? Because I don't think I know about that. What about Lachlan? I'd have to look in on that. Because I didn't go out to the garage today. I've been like in and out of sleep part of the day. Hi, Raymond. Hey, how you doing? It's doubled. Oh yeah, you know that Charleroi in Pennsylvania. That same thing happened. It literally doubled their population. And that little town has like I think they said 3 temp services, but they're all owned by the same people who have a LLC company out of Florida. They're all tied in with the George 10 over here in Springfield, who also has temp services in other towns across the country. So it's all if you connect the dots, it's not looking good. Hey, Vern. Yeah. Well, you know how that is as far as that first part there. Uh, get out and vote. And if you voted early, if you voted by mail, uh, go to, I can't remember the website, and I apologize, but there is a way to check to make sure that your vote got counted. Um, and I can't remember the name of it. I apologize for that, but you can check on that, make sure that your mail-in vote got in there and you're covered. I vote on election day. Uh, I don't know why. It just makes me feel better to be in there to physically do that part and know what it says when I walk out the door. Although we don't really have a big problem here in town, there's no long lines ever, and because this is a red town, and but not a whole lot of people vote here. That's a kind of a bad part. You get a lot of people that complain around here, but they don't vote. Which when it comes to Democrats, that's my favorite Democrat. They can run their mouth all day long, and then at the end of their sentence, they say, "Well, I'm glad I don't even vote." So you spent 30 minutes telling me about what's wrong with my candidate, but you don't even vote. That's my favorite Democrat. Yeah, 48 Chevy trucks. I never had a 48 Chevy truck. I had 48 Ford. Now I've had a couple 47, 48 Chevy cars. I've had the coupe and the sedans, both of them. I had a 48 sedan delivery that was pretty cool. Yeah, East Texas. A lot of good stuff comes out of Texas as far as the cars. I'm in the Rust Belt. They call that for a reason. What I see a lot of these car shows, what they call something that's barely worth fixing is a gold mine to me. Because if anybody's following my car content, you can see what kind of a vehicle I started with. And here it's got a little bit of value, but that car would not be worth anything out in Texas, probably. Okay. Weather break. Is it raining? Yeah, Raymond, if you don't mind typing that in there, what did you find out about what's going on in Georgia with the mail-in ballots? Now, I've heard some shenanigans about they had, oh, shoot, I wish I'd have wrote it down, where they had somebody who's 2,500 ballots. They have to, they're reviewing it right now, but it seems like they're signed by all the same person. And there's like several addresses that are used where people have already voted there. So there's a lot of fraud going on. So 2,500 don't sound like a lot, but as close as this race is, it could mean the difference. So you know, we'll see how that goes. I'm thinking that was in shoot, North Carolina. It's either North Carolina, South Carolina, I think. But nevertheless, that's a bad deal. Georgia is for anyone who ever lived in that. Yeah, that was a problem during COVID there, Raymond. they would send the ballots, mail-in ballots to an address. It didn't matter, like how I don't know about you guys, but I live in an old house, so obviously there's people that's lived here before me. We constantly get mail uh, for the people who lived here years ago, and we've lived here a very very long time. So that's how they did the mail-in ballots during COVID. This whatever known address they had on somebody, they just would send out those mail-in ballots, and anybody in that household could fill that out. And which is kind of the problem with mail-in ballots. Now, when you have the absentee ballot, there's a process you go through. It's not you just don't get it, fill it out, and send it back in. There's a deal about that before they start doing all these mail-in ballot deals. I'm a component supporter of. Hey, Laura, how you doing? Yeah, I'm a component of the making election day a holiday, and everybody go vote and paper votes, and they literally we can know by 2, 3 o'clock in the morning at the latest who won. And if it's an overwhelming how they do it, a majority, when they know it's a majority red, whatever, they call it early, which, that ended up being a mistake during the 2016 election. So, we'll see how they do. The thing is, you got to vote. You got to get your neighbors to vote. You can't let the people, like I was just talking about, want to sit there and complain about stuff, but then they say they don't vote because they don't feel like their vote has any value to it. Well, show them that they're wrong. You got to show them this is the first time in a long time we've had a chance that, of course, if you're leaning right, I'm assuming everybody's leaning right. I have no problem if you're wanting to vote for Kamala Harris. I don't. You vote for who you feel like you want to vote for, but at least do the process. And but anyways, what I was getting ready to say is, we have a chance. It's a very very long time since this happened to possibly get the popular vote too. If we get the popular vote, it's hard to cheat when your candidate has the popular vote too. How's the geese population? Well, they kind of that thing, they their community leaders have kind of like put the stomp down on that. So obviously they're not going to do anything. Right now, they're claiming they're the victims. They're being terrorized by all the racist white people in this town. But as I said before, they don't have no video of this, so it's not true. Unless they show me video of somebody chasing them down the street with a gun or a machete or something, it's just all talk. It's just trying to get the sympathy of national news to paint the picture of everybody here that lives here has blown all this out of proportion, and they're the poor victims, which it's not true. The only thing, another thing that ticked me off is they're offering classes for all of us to learn Creole when they should be offering classes to teach all of them to learn English. That's kind of like screwed up. I have a problem with that. If they're going to go through the effort of trying to teach everybody Creole, that's just ridiculous. It should be the other way around. Because last time I checked, this was American soil. And in this country, English is the main language. I always had a problem with people when they ask for people to have, they have to know Spanish to have the job when it's all these people in this country speak Spanish and can't speak English. They need to give them English lessons also. Yeah, but that's just my opinion. I don't know how everybody else feels about that. Always travel. Yeah, Raymond, that there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's the law of the land today. You can use it. It's there. The old saying, if it's legal, there's no problem with doing it. It's kind of like they want to try to demonize Trump for using the tax laws to hardly pay any taxes. Well, if you didn't want him to get by with that, and you're mad at him doing that, why didn't everybody change the tax laws? That's Congress's job to change tax laws, but they haven't done it. So why get mad at somebody who knows how to use the laws to save money on taxes? I mean, if I had it available, I'd use it too. Of course, I'm like the rest. Well, I don't know about all of y'all, but I don't make enough to worry about all that. So, yeah, Laura, that's the problem. They should learn to assimilate here. But also, if they're on that temporary protective status, uh, they just need to learn how to pack their bags because hopefully after next week, uh, they'll be getting prepared to go back home. And then they need to fix their own country. I mean, I have no problem helping them if they want to do it. I mean, we've been dumping money through NGOs and all kinds of charities over the years into that country, and it's a piece of crap country. It's like they got no morals, they got no brains. I mean, they have no structure, uh, but that's not our fault. So, I've seen all these celebrities, including, John Legend is from here. And I just seen where he said him and his wife's going to move out of the country next week if Trump wins. I can't wait because him and his wife's kind of a piece of shit anyway. I forget who else. There's a lot of celebrities says they're hitting the road, Jack. They don't come back no more, no more, no more. A lot of them, I think they're worried more about the P Diddy stuff because it seems like all the ones that are saying they're going to move out of the country are attached to P Diddy. Connect that dots. Yeah, they do. They promised last time, didn't they? In 2016, they were going to leave the country. Yeah, I think even Whoopi Goldberg was one of those ones who said she was going to leave the country and never did. Yeah, don't make a threat. You're you can't back up. That's what I'm saying. They should keep their word and do it. Yeah, we don't care. You know what? Like I said, I think it's all about P Diddy deal on that because they're all on that list. They're all. I mean, even his wife bragged about and she's kind of a stupid, nasty freak anyway. About the best party she's ever been to was at P Diddy's house, and John Legend kind of hushed her up during that little red carpet interview that they did. So you got to catch that kind of thing, and you wonder why. And then when you realize there's something to that, now you know why. Connect the dots. I'm gonna try to pronounce this name. Is it Thurston? I hope I say that right. Yeah, see, like Charleroi, Pennsylvania. That's kind of what they did. It was, I think they had like a population of 4,000, and with all the Haitians that came in there, they doubled the population. Yeah, see, that's you also have to look too because we talked about this on the WTF Wednesdays on the live stream that I do with the guys on the Asshole Opinion Show, our channel. And we were talking about that, about these towns. It's not so much about what they're doing to the population. It's kind of like here. How close is some kind of essential military facility or research facility that's important to the United States or the U.S. government as far as military or something close to it? How close are these places? Because I know here, y'all probably know the story about them buying firearms. You know, there's something to that. The girl that blew the whistle is now under the thumb of ATF. They contacted her like the very next day that come public in the video. So now they got a GoFundMe to get her money for lawyers' fees because now the ATF is climbing in her ass. And of course, World King is denying all this. And of course, they're going to deny it, you know. But my thing is, why deny it if the government allowed them to do it anyway? Hey, TJ. Thurston, I hope I got your name right. A castle. That must be pretty cool. Yeah, you know, even though this is a car channel, I try to like, if we want to talk about this stuff, you guys are cool with it. I'm cool with it. I don't really. That's kind of how a lot of y'all even are on this channel. It's because of this stuff about my town. Um, I try my best to keep most of the political stuff during the live stream on the other show that I'm doing because I enjoy the back and forth with people, and if people want to interact with us while we're doing the show, that's cool too. It's all good. I enjoy it. Yeah, so but if y'all want to talk about something else, let me know. If you got a car question, you probably answer that too. If you got a government question, I can give you my opinion. Got a question or concerns, it don't have to be a question, it can be a concern. And then, we can all chime in on that together and see what's going on, see if there's something we're all noticing or something we can do about it. Well, I appreciate that, Thurston. Well, I hope you stay. I'm going to try to do this on a regular basis. I don't know if it'll be every week, but I wanted to try a night owl thing for those of us who can't sleep at night, like myself. Also, I thought about doing a early morning deal because some people who get up like at 6:30 in the morning or whatever might want to hang out for an hour before they have to get ready to go to work or something. Uh, I always ask the chat rooms if there's an interest in that because it seems like most of the people of the live stream, it's usually between 7 in the evening and 10 o'clock. But I want to be a little bit different. I want that group of people who are the in between. You know what I'm saying? I hope I'm making that sound right. But we're all in this together. I'm having shirts made. Says my pronoun is American. So I think somebody I made that comment not too long ago, and somebody told me I need to make a shirt out of it. So I'm having shirts made. Says my pronoun is American. I don't know if that's original or not, but I don't think I've heard anybody else say it. But it'll be cool. Yeah, Ronnie, we're all night owls. That's a song, Lord. I'm old enough to know when that I was around when it came out new. But it's cool. Yeah, I mean, if you're just stopping in to say hi, that's all good. Um, you know, you might like it enough to stay next time, or if you want to talk about something. That's why I like live stuff. The chat room is great. It kind of changes it, because when I say stuff and I get off on a tangent or whatever, some kind of story of my life somewhere, that's one thing. But when you have interaction, it makes it a whole lot better. I think that's why I like doing the live stream with the two guys on the other channel, because it seems like we get on topic and we get to talking about it, and it seems like time flies and it's all good. Because that show was last time we did it was scheduled for an hour, and we went an hour and a half. Saying that, on my other channel, Jimmy Pockets, I was going to do that for an hour, and that went for 5.5 hours. That's kind of crazy. And that's even with the internet going out in Ohio. A part of Ohio went out for an hour, but I was able to hotspot my phone and get the live stream back up. And we went for, like I said, it was like almost 3 hours the first time, and then the restream was like 2.5 hours. So it was a long time. I don't recommend that. My butt was sore. Yeah, I had to go to this channel. Uh, Everybody who follows me on the car channel, I had to go to this channel because the chat wouldn't work. So on this channel, the chat's working. So, and I didn't have an opportunity to put any information in there that would change the chat room. But like I said, most people who have my car content channel also are subscribed to this channel. So I'd hoping they would catch that. And it looks like most of y'all did, I hope. Kind of ticked me off. I couldn't have live stream on my regular channel that I wanted to do the night out thing on my car channel. But that's why I was treating this like it was my car channel tonight, because I didn't know if you guys were going to try to get on my live stream on the other channel, and you come over here when the notification come up that I live stream here. Am I wrong, or are you guys just hanging out because it showed up here and you didn't even realize about the other channel? Yeah, Raymond, I know. I got to figure out what that was. I tried 3 times on that channel to go live, and the chat room was now and void. It just wouldn't work. I tried getting into the help link thing for YouTube, and it says YouTube will not connect. So I don't know what's going on there. I'm gonna try to fix it later on today. Maybe I'm gonna get in the help center chat room with YouTube and see if there's something they got shut off or whatever. And are they doing it on purpose to mess with me? I don't know. I didn't really want to do it on this channel. I honestly didn't. I wanted to do it on my car channel. I wanted to have a night out. I didn't want to see if I can explain it. I want to go live on all 3 channels that I'm on. I got the Wednesday thing at 6:30 with the other guys at the Assholes Opinion channel. I got my Jimmy Pockets. I want to go live on Fridays at 6:30. And then I wanted to do a night owl on my car channel, but it wouldn't let me do it. So we're over here. It's so many, and that was pre-scheduled. I don't know if y'all got the notification 2 days ago when that was scheduled. 2016 Equinox. Let's see here. I check tire light and no problem with the tires. My check engine light is on. Car's great. Okay, so you probably, if you 2016, you ought to be able to go in to your dash. You got the buttons on your steering wheel, probably. it'll let you go in, and the tire management system, should be TMS, and it will tell you what the problem is. Uh, Try to find, if you can't, find it. If you got the manual still in the glove box, it ought to tell you how to bring that up on your dashboard. What it is you probably got a bad sensor in one of your wheels, so it's telling you that it's got a problem. Not that your tire's going low; it's just that it doesn't register anymore with that sensor in the tire. The engine light may be also sometimes they interconnect. Your engine light, usually there's a code, and if you go to your local O'Reilly's or AutoZone, they can hook a scanner up to it, and then they can tell you if the code is the tire uh, uh, management system. Uh, Maybe it's tire pressure management. Anyways, TPM. It's something like that. Anyways, they can tell you that's what the light is for. It's telling you that there's a problem with your tire pressure management sensor in your wheel. I hope that helps. And you won't really know with the engine light until you have a scanner hooked up to it. Like I said, you go to one of those parts outlets, they'll hook it up for you and give you the deal. Yeah, and since your car is running, your car can still run good and still have a check engine light. And what that is it's telling you that something is not reading right. It's usually a sensor gone bad since your engine's still running good. Uh, but sometimes if a sensor is in the wrong place, like there's usually like two oxygen sensors and stuff like that. If they both go bad, then it's going to tell the engine that the air fuel mixture is wrong, and it's going to try to compensate for it. But a lot of times these things are smarter than we are for sure anymore. It's probably just if it's not your tire management system, then they will also be able to tell you which sensor is bad and tell you, they give you a price on how to fix, on fixing it as far as the part. I mean, if you can possibly get to it yourself, you're better off. That's the whole idea with these new scanners deals. They're so high tech that they can narrow down right to the exact point of which part is bad. In the old days, they couldn't do it. They could just tell you that there was a problem in your fuel management or your air uh, system reader or something like that. But it couldn't, like if you had a dead miss, it couldn't tell you which cylinder, couldn't tell you if it was a coil, couldn't tell you anything. But today it can, so that's pretty good. Yeah, Vern, that's what I was hoping, that most people who were subscribed to my car channel would have had the notifications turned on both my channels and would be able to uh, maybe catch on that I had to switch over because of YouTube. Has anybody ever heard of having a problem with the chat room with live streams? It kind of was getting irritating, and I guess I could have typed in when I tried to do the third live stream that I was going to go over to this channel, but I didn't think, because I was thinking I would be able to bring it up and it would be okay. But just had that problem, and his sensor battery was dead. Yeah, Raymond. That's it. Typically, I have I change in those wheel sensors. They have to be programmed, so you have to. I'd say because I can change my own tires at my house, but I can't if I can't do a newer wheel that's got the sensor in it because I can't program it because I have a tire changer in my garage. But uh, for those who, you know, usually the system can tell you which sensor it is, and then you'll know to buy one. And I don't know what they are now. I know what they was last time, like 3 years ago. Mine cost like almost $80, so I'm sure they are more now. And don't skimp out on an off brand. Um, take my advice and take the advice of the people who try to sell you that. They're not trying to upsell you. You're going to get what you pay for. Trust me on that. You don't mess around with sensors. You try to get the the best price that you can, but you also don't want an off-brand one. You want to try to stick with what came on the car. So it basically it's easier for the system to integrate with the new part being in there, and you think they're all equal, uh, but they're not. So just saying that. Let's see. That's going to sound stupid, Raymond, but what's a VPN?
Virtual private network.
Okay, so what's that do?
It means they can't read your IP address.
Oh, okay. What's YouTube? So
It means they don't know where you're broadcasting from. It's just private broadcasting.
yeah. Oh, no problem, Laura. You know, that's what I hope to do on these live chats. We just have a conversation, a little community, little cars, a little politics. Like I said, I was really wanting to do this on the car channel. I'm trying to uh, do most of my politicking on the live stream on Wednesdays, but I don't steer away from it. If people ask me questions and want to know about my town or even my opinion about something, sometimes I throw my opinion out there without it being asked. So that I apologize for sometimes. It happens. Yeah, eventually you do have to have properly working sensors because eventually what will happen is the vehicle will try to compensate for that sensor not working. And what I say on that is goes, it does like a default program thing. And if you got a little miles on your engine and you got little miles on your plugs and other sensors and everything goes along with that, eventually you'll if you get an engine light and the engine light starts blinking, it's telling you, the engine light's telling you to get something checked. When it starts blinking, it's telling you to get something checked now. Because eventually what'll happen is it'll go into limp mode, and that means you have no throttle. It just lets you idle all if it goes into limp mode and you're going down the highway, well then you have enough power to creep off the highway at idle speed and get into a parking lot or something somewhere, or keep your four ways on and limp mode to the parts place and figure out what the problem is. A lot of times they can reset it and it'll run right when you leave the parking lot, but it's going to happen again. So just a reminder, just to let you know about that. Oh, I do nothing privately, Vern. Yeah, I don't think I have anything set as private, especially the live stream. The live stream is public. And all that so irritated me because I was hoping to get, since how I pre-scheduled it and, did everything I thought I was supposed to do. I had a little thumbnail up there. I thought it was all going to be good. I didn't expect like a ton of people to show up, but I figured I was hoping somewhere close to 20 just because it was pre-scheduled and there are people across the pond that this is the middle of their day. And, I had a gentleman from Scotland in here the other day in this channel. So, you know, let's see, I'm on campground public Wi Fi. See, I have Spectrum and I'm on Wi-Fi, but I mean, it's working on this channel. It should work on my other channel too. Uh, I don't know how to fix that. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna get into the support chat room probably sometime tomorrow or this morning and see if there's something silly because it said an error right on it. It had like a stupid little monkey in the picture, and it says YouTube cannot connect. Error. But he had to give you a little search bar to type something in there, and I typed in there problem with chat room because I was figuring it was their support or whatever, and I clicked on it, and it just said YouTube not connecting. So there's nothing I can do about it. It is what it is. Yeah, Laura, if I don't like computerized cars either. I have a Challenger that's it's a run by wire vehicle. It's even got an electric power steering, which I hate with a passion because when you're going down the road, it works just fine. But if you're in a place where you're trying to like parallel park or get out of a tight spot, it doesn't work 100% like it should. And electric power steering, when it fails, it's far worse than the old style that just has a pump that's attached to your engine when your power steering goes out. It's a little hard to steer, but the electric power steering, it's almost impossible to steer. It takes 3 men and a baby to turn the steering wheel. Yeah, Raymond, like I said, I'll try to get that fixed. I want to try this again next Tuesday, about the same time, 1 a.m., unless somebody's got a better, because I can set it up. That's why I like to talk to you guys and get the overall consensus of what's a better time. That's why my Friday thing went from 7 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. because I did not realize that Salty Cracker, I was up against him with the live, and I don't want to do that. I want to be in a time frame that I'm not trying to compete with somebody who I would want to watch myself. Nobody wanted to watch me. I'd watch them too. Hey TJ, just woke up. I feel you. What time is it where you're at? All right, Laura. Hey man, it's good talking to you. I mean, we're doing pretty good. I got 10 people in here. 8 a.m. So you across the pond? What country are you in? Finland. That's very cool. Finland, you guys are like very serious car people there from some of the programming that I've seen. Am I correct on that? You guys have a love for cars, kind of like Australia does too, and we do. Not saying that other countries don't have the love for cars, but it seems like Australia is car crazy, kind of like the U.S. is, and I think Finland, if I'm not mistaken, has a good car community over there too. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. It's pretty cool. You have a hot rod, or do you just drive a regular transportation vehicle? Janice, how you doing? I give it to you. You support me quite well. I appreciate that. Is Farmer's Wife still in here? I was looking at my analytics uh, the other day, and I find it to be quite astonishing. Even on my car channel, it tells you the gender of the percentages of like they give you ages and they give you like if it's male or female. They give you countries, and then it's kind of wild because 47% of my viewing audience is female, which I say, ladies, thank you. I don't know if you guys are just tuning in because you want to hear this old crazy guy say some stuff, or if you like cars. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's good to have that kind of balance. I appreciate that. Maybe you can school some of these guys on some stuff. Not that I don't need school. I'm right there with you. I'm good, but maybe some of the guys in the chat room I need school. You know what I mean? Recovering being called garbage today by the president. Really? I missed that too. I'm gonna have to look at that. Our current government just don't give a shit about us. I mean, there's got to be. Hopefully, we can get in there and things will change next week. I mean, it won't change right away, but of course, just because they win the election don't mean they win the office yet, because until after January 6th and January 20th is my thumbs up, is when I'll be happy. So we're human garbage. Is that because of who we support? Hey, Vamp, how you doing? They talk about the rhetoric that Trump uses, but Trump never uses the type of rhetoric that they do. When they describe Trump or even us, yeah, we promoted from deplorable to garbage. You know what I say about that? Pardon my language, but fuck them. From current polling, what it tells me is there's more of us than there are of them now. So they're scared. Oh, yeah. What's your idea about the T-shirt? Of course, mine. My pronoun is American. Yeah, I mean, and I hate to use that kind of language because I get it. Not everybody likes it. I'm an old mechanic, and sometimes you just got to drop the F-bomb just to get that point drove home a little bit deeper. Trash for Trump. But what's funny is they made such a big deal about that comedian making fun, because there truly is a island of garbage floating around down there close to Puerto Rico. I don't know if y'all seen it. That's a true thing. And all he did was just talk about that island of garbage and then just added the Puerto Rico, the island, in on it. But they made such a big deal about that, but yet they can call an individual garbage and it's okay. So what's the difference there? I'm gonna have to watch that. I'm gonna have to look that up on YouTube and watch that. That kind of threw me off a little bit. Trash for Trump. That would be a good shirt. The only thing I can say is the trash is about to take the garbage out. After November 5th, we'll start doing it with a big ass shovel. And they think they have the military and the local police on their side, about keeping the peace or forcing us into submission or whatever they think they want to do to Trump if he wins. But, I kind of have a theory on that. These people are citizens just like us, and they're all tired of the bullshit too. I don't think they'll get the compliance from them as they think. I don't think it's going to go the way they want. And when that happens and they lose all control over all this, then it'll be the first time something like this has happened since, the Civil War. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, right. They are scared. You can believe that. You can believe that as deep in your soul as possible. They are scared. For one, they can't. They think they can control us because all the people who are doing years, not months, but years, for walking into the Capitol on January 6th back in 2020. I mean, 15 years. Hell, I'm not a Proud Boy fan. I mean, used to Proud Boys were just a good old like frat boy kind of thing. It actually started out as a joke. Then it kind of turned serious, and they're not white supremacists because they have too many other nationalities that are in their group for them to be called I mean, they can be called right wing. There's no doubt about that. But they can't be called white supremacists because they're not. But because the gentleman that got 15 years, who it was actually the head of them, was their president at the time, or whatever you want to call it, was in Florida and was just text messaging back and forth. And he got 15 years for conspiracy. Or, he wasn't even in the damn state. Some of these people, if I ain't saying all need to be pardoned, because some of them did some stupid shit. But most of them need to be pardoned. Yeah, Raymond. It ain't just the 4 or 5 million retired military, but also the current enlisted military are tired of this bullshit. So, that's people's sons, daughters, brothers, uncles, aunts. These people, they think they're going to have the military just, mindless drone or androids who just gonna, I follow orders and that's it. But there comes a point in time when they're gonna say, nah, it's not gonna happen. Yeah, Vern, that's what I'm saying. It's bad. They should never be in the situation that they're in. uh it's, I tell you what, no, even though the polls are going Trump's way, the polls are not going Trump's way in a large number. And really, in the last two election cycles, the polls were off by, I think the first one was off by 9 points, and this last one was off by 6 or 7 points, and all in Trump's favor. But he still didn't win enough because Biden was ahead by 9 points come election day, I believe, and Trump, they were off within 7 points. So that means Biden only won by two points because there was small majority in a lot of the swing states that he won. But we all went to bed that night, and at 4:30 in the morning, they did this huge mail-in dump, and it went from everybody thought Trump was winning, and then everybody got up the next morning, and all of a sudden he lost because of mail-in votes they didn't count till 4 something in the morning. Uh, they can claim it was a fair election because they used the rules, and the rules that they set, and COVID had a lot to do with that. They treated this country, they locked us down, and we honestly gave away our personal freedoms because we'd never been through something like this and thought, well, the government's doing the right thing. And it's one thing for the first month or so, yeah, that might be the case, but after a year and they're still doing it, they're not just doing it for control. But yeah, they changed the rules. They changed the rules in a few states at the last minute, and then it was, I've said this before. It's kind of stupid because people who tried to bring these cases to court before the election, they said, well, you can't do that because nothing's happened yet. So there's nothing to argue against because there's nothing to argue because it's not happened yet. Then it happens. And then they take it to court and they say, well, it's too late now. The election's over with. So this should have been handled before the election. The same people that said before the election, since nothing's happened yet, you can't really bring it to court. So it was kind of like the dumbest thing that, it's legal law, what they call it, lawfare or whatever. They use the system against us. But when you're in control of the system, you can change the rules however you see fit. And if the judges are on your side, there's not really much that a regular person can do except get somebody in there to throw all their asses out. So we'll see. TJ, we're prepared for the worst. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. I don't know if you've ever been in any of my chat rooms, but I always talk about prepping, being prepared, food, water, generator, enough fuel for the generator lasts 3 to 5 days. Ammo, you don't need a lot of guns, but you need a lot of ammo, and hopefully you'll never use none of that. It'll just go off like any other election, but you don't know till you know. And also a bug out bag, because a lot of times if you're not a prepper, maybe you got some family members somewhere that lives in a safer area. If you're in a big city and they're burning shit down, you just grab a bug out bag and go live, go hang out somewhere safer for a while till it's all been resolved. Yeah, Vernon, you know what's sad about all that? Okay, think about this. So they found a whole bunch of illegal voter registrations, and they tried to remove them, and our Justice Department filed a lawsuit to keep those illegal ballots or voter registrations on the voter rolls. Why would our own U.S. government do that? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, but it makes no sense, and it's like they're not even trying to hide it no more. It's like they don't give a shit what you think. They're in charge, and they're going to stay in charge, because even if Trump wins, they're not going to give up power. I mean, they're talking about all the time about he can't accept the last election, and he didn't want to give up power. Well, Hillary Clinton still thinks that Trump was an illegitimate president when it was her that started that whole fake Russia thing in the first place. And she still claims that he should have never been president. So who's in denial? That's what I think about it. I could be wrong. I could be, though, but it's possible. What y'all think? Yeah, all I was going to ask, is the chat room working fine as far as the speed of it coming up? It's not having a delay like my one chat was. And I don't know why that was either. No, yeah. Did y'all fall asleep on me? Thanks, Janice. I tell you, it's hard to get people to engage this late at night. Yeah, and once more, guys, I apologize for doing this on this channel. I did not want to do it on this channel. I wanted to do it on my car channel. I'm trying to spread things out a little bit. I like going live. I like doing it at different times of the day, different times of the week, and I hope it's not too much for people who want to tune in and hang out. Maybe I'm doing too much. I don't know. Uh, but that's why I ask all you guys, what y'all think? I mean, because a few of you been in my chat in my live on every live that I've done, and I highly appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, Raymond. I Here's the thing with that monetization deal. Um, it's almost like because of the content that I got all those views for, it took them 3 weeks to monetize me. Well, at the end of that 3 weeks, actually, it was a little bit longer than 3 weeks, to be honest with you, because that month they said I was eligible to be monetized on the 8th. Well, I didn't get monetized until like the first couple of days of this month. So I lost out on any revenue that I could have made on those ones that got all those hundreds of thousands, 2.3 million views. None of that was monetized. The only thing that's monetized right now is my current car content and stuff like if I do a live or whatever. But I wouldn't let me do a live on my car channel today, so we're back on Jimmy Pockets. And I'm trying to, like I said, not do so much on this channel as far as that because I want to spread it out a little bit. Because Wednesdays on one channel, on Fridays on my regular disc channel, and I wanted to do something like Tuesdays on my car channel. So I'll try to get that fixed before next Tuesday so I can go to my car channel. And it don't matter what the subject is anybody wants to talk about just because it's on my car channel. It's just that I didn't want to, I'm not monetized on this channel at all, so that doesn't really matter to me to a point. Uh, I'm a good way away from being able to be monetized on this channel because you got to have to be fully monetized. You got to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time, which I am a long way away from that on this channel. Now I met that in spades on the other channel, but they just didn't want to seem to verify in my monetization eligibility. So I mean, kind of take me off because everybody thought, well, yeah, you're gonna get rich with all these stupid views. Well, no, and none of that was monetized. So yeah, right. And the only reason my car channel was able to be monetized is because of my videos on the Haitian issue here in Springfield, Ohio. Not because of my car content. I had 200 subscribers before I made my video about Springfield, Ohio Haitians. Papa Bones, wife and I had been married 44 years. That's cool. TDS. And she threatening to divorce you? Because a lot of people split up over that. And it makes you wonder there's got to be a difference in people's brain waves or patterns or whatever you want to call it. Because you can give them straight up facts, where to find the facts, show them where they are lying at, and show them that it is a lie. You can prove that they're taking shit out of context, or they don't add the whole conversation in there, or somebody just flat out lying about something. Because it's always funny because it's anonymous sources or it's a source close to the situation. They don't name sources ever. And back in the day, they would name a source. They usually wouldn't go by one source. You know what I mean? And usually, if it's somebody who's don't mind being the source, it's usually because they're pissed off because they were fired or something, and they become, most people would look at that as uh, a just disgruntled employee. They didn't have a problem with whatever something was said until they were fired, and then they have a problem. So if it was if it was good for you while you were working for them, but yet it's no longer good for you when you're fired, then who can trust what you're saying is true? Yeah, Raymond, I assume you're talking about me. Get some of that back. So, no, there's no getting anything back. Um, I tell you what, on my car channel, I've made a whole $140 this month, which is okay because I didn't make nothing before. I didn't make those videos to get monetized. I made those videos because it was something that concerned me, and it's something that I could say I know for a fact is true because I have a personal involvement with it. It's not hearsay, even though I've been called a liar a few times over it, but I can assure you I am not. But those of you that call me a liar can't really tell me why they think I'm lying, other than the fact they think I'm racist or something. Uh, just because, and I'm not going to try to defend myself on that. I usually, when somebody calls me that, I say, all right, that's what you think. Okay, now what? What are you going to do about it? Usually shuts them up because they don't expect that. They expect you to backpedal and try to come up with excuses. I'm not really doing. You can't call me that. I give it. No, that's not how this guy works. Really, Vern. Why would YouTube make a phone call to the president? Because there's a lot of people who are like the Joe Rogan experience. That thing is being what is it they call that when you can't find it in search very well. I forget the term on that. It'll come to me. But they like bury you in algorithms because they don't like the content. Let me ask you this here, Papa. They say the best way to get somebody is to first listen. Let them say what they got to say. And if they say a whole bunch of stuff, shadow ban, there you go, Janice. If they say a whole bunch of stuff, let's break this down one subject at a time. You can't just go, he's bad because of blah 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 blah. No, let's take one at a time and see if you have some kind of really serious justification to feel that way, and then try to work through each thing and try because you're married to him. If it was a stranger, I'd say kick him to the curb. Don't give a shit. Kind of hard to do that with your wife. I have an aunt that won't talk to me because she has Trump derangement syndrome. And I've never said nothing bad to her about anything or anything like that. It's just that if I make even a comment about my support for Trump, she'll block me on Facebook or whatever. So I ain't talked to her in a long time. And that's on her. That's not on me. That's not my fault. That's her problem. You got to remember, they're the ones with the problem, not you. Yeah, Raymond, but it would have been nice if you counted all the videos that I did on the Springfield subject. 2.3 for the one, 100 some thousand for a couple of the other ones. And on and the one video was shared over all platforms. It went almost to 7 million views, which you don't get paid for all that, but at least a 2.3 million. If I'd already been monetized, whew, Daddy could throw a few brand new car parts on his project in a hurry, but that didn't happen. So I'm still Empty Pockets Garage. Probably going to stay that way for a very, very long time. You just gotta. I was irritated at first because of how they handled that with me, and then you just gotta chuckle. It's like, okay, so you're not liking the message. I get it. And they even they made one of them where it can't be monetized because of the content, the way I spoke in the video or something. I didn't get a strike, but they told me I couldn't monetize the video. So you'll have that problem too, no matter what. Even if your channel's monetized, not every video will be monetized. Yeah, and I've had some people ask about merchandise, and I'm working on that. I wasn't gonna have enough made where I was gonna like pay a company to do it for me. I got like a relative that actually does shirts and hats and stuff, and I asked them. I gave them some of my designs, and they actually um, they do vinyl work too. So I was actually going to show this and see if anybody. Let's see if you can see this or not. It's a vinyl decal. I had that to match. See, I had this personally made years ago, so the decal matches my koozie thing here. That's your lady with this here. You mean here like if she's in bed? I'm in my bedroom. This is my TV behind me in my bedroom. So yeah, she's here. She's in bed. Yeah, I've seen super chats. I've seen a lot of the big boys who have the super chat thing. They make a little bit of money on it. I thought about turning my Jimmy Pockets channel here into like a reaction channel. And I don't know if you ever watched a guy named LFR Family. I watched him since before he had. I don't even think he had. It wasn't a whole lot. He didn't have a whole lot. It was just a couple thousand subscribers, and he reacted to music. I don't want to do that. Then he started getting into the politics thing, and he was left leaning big time. He was a Democrat. And then he started reacting to all the videos, and then he started realizing the lies that the left was telling him. Because he started seeing the videos and seeing Donald Trump in his own words, because he watched a good portion of the video instead of watching the clippets that the news outlets would put on the air. So he's now a Trump supporter, and he's got like almost 1 million followers just by being a reactionary, channel. So I thought about doing that with this channel. I don't know if I'm engaging enough to people to even be interested in it, but anyways, that's a thought. Once I can get smart enough to be able to throw the videos up on the screen next to me so that the audience at home can see what I'm talking about, that what I'm reacting to. So far, I don't know how to do that. So I haven't got there yet. I do have a mic system, and it's got all kinds of little funny things on there, like laugh and clapping and funny music and all kinds of weird stuff. I'm not using it right now because I'm not trying to be a reaction type channel yet. I don't know if my advice is helping you any at all, Papa, but maybe is your wife with you here in the chat? Maybe I can have a conversation with her. That keeps you out of the hot water. Yeah, my girlfriend's laughing about that just in case y'all don't know. Because I do tend to piss people off. Yeah, I don't need nothing from the peanut gallery. Well, Raymond, I think it'd still be like what we're doing now. And because Van, the LFR family, he does his live. And then, of course, it becomes a video once he's done doing it live. He'll go on there for like 15 minutes live. And, and some people will jump in and he'll have people in the chat and he'll show the video that he wants to react to. And then, then it becomes, a video that you can watch the rest of the week if you didn't watch him go live. And sometimes he's on there for an hour. Sometimes he's on there with other people that zoom in, that they have like a forum, like 4 to 6 people or whatever. And usually those are like a 2-hour deal, which I kind of want to get into that too. A lot of you people who are in chat, maybe you'd want to come on here. We can Zoom people in who want to be a recurring people in my live streams, and we can have a better conversation that way, I think, because instead of you trying to type it all in, because I'm not a good typer. I don't know about the rest, but usually by the time I get my thoughts out, the subject's been changed 3 times before I get my thought out of there. But I've asked for local help, and they don't seem to know how to do that. I don't know anybody who does. I got a guy on Rumble to try to explain it to me a couple of times, but it's like trying to speak Creole to me. I don't know. I'm not a computer person. It makes no sense to me. And usually what he's telling me doesn't match up to what I'm seeing on the computer. So I need somebody in the room with me to show me what I'm doing, to what I need to do, what I'm not doing. Is she with you? You talking about Papa right there, Raymond? Is his wife with us? Oh, elephant. Okay, sorry. Mountain. Good to see you. Yeah, you like me. That's what I do. I try to find stuff and I try to subscribe to all of them. And I know it's sometimes I'll get to watching a bunch of them and I'll go down some rabbit holes with them. But because I do watch a lot of people with car content too, so that's why I'm up all hours of the night watching videos. I'd much rather make my own, I guess. Vamp, you would think so. You really would. I haven't found them, at least nothing that I understand. Because it's funny, some of the videos that I found, they go through it so fast. It's just like you got to keep watching it, pause it, rewind it, watch it, pause it, rewind a little bit more. And, and it's just like, it makes no sense. I don't get it. Yeah, I'm going to try. Believe it or not, as saturated as I am on 3 channels on YouTube, we are in the middle of starting a new podcast on Rumble with me and my daughter. And it's also going to be called Jimmy Pockets Podcast. So we got the channel up and going, but the live stream's a little bit harder to do. It's not like YouTube. So we're working on that right now with another person with Rumble to try to get that going because me and her, we don't always have, because I don't feel like driving over to her house and she don't want to, she's not going to come here. So we're trying to do it where we can do it at our own houses and be on screen together. And so far, there's some kind of programming issue with that with Rumble. But eventually, I'll have a podcast on Rumble too, along with these things going on here. Okay, so Project 2025 there, Papa. Trump has already said a few things that he's going to have in his policy, which is Trump 47, which is on his website. 2025 is another project. Everybody said, well, it's people that used to work in his cabinet and stuff. Yeah, because he had a lot of real harsh conservatives that was part of his team back in his first time in office. That don't mean they're going to be with him this time, because he even said that he learned a lot and he wanted to put more of his own people in there, not just people other people suggested for him to put in those positions. So a lot of the people that was in his first cabinet was suggestions from other career politicians. Well, he's learned since then that don't always get stuff done, and not in the way that he wants. How many times he's got to say that he's against a national abortion ban? That the whole idea of taking it from the federal government and putting it back to the states is that you have a choice in your state to vote for what you want. It is not the federal government's job to monitor that anymore. That's the whole idea. That's the whole idea of our country is states are supposed to have more power than the federal government for their own citizens in their own state. So if you don't like what's going on in your state, either vote the people in that will vote the way you want, or as Reagan said, you have the ability to move. If it's a federal government rule, there's no place to go unless you want to leave the country. So being in the state, and Trump's already vowed to not make it a federal subject. As many as those conservatives who says that their religion states that it needs to be zero tolerance, no abortions, that's not Trump's point of view. Even though Trump's pro-life or anti-abortion, whatever you can call it, it's the state's decision. I used to live in the States. Yeah, TJ. Well, that's where we need to help ourselves, and we have the ability to help ourselves as long as we're willing to not be afraid to take a loss or take a hit of some kind, personal, professional, however you want to look at it. You got to be able to risk it to make change. Yeah, Katie, you know the deal with the she's stuck on the abortion deal. She's none of that stuff's gonna give a shit to her. Uh, she ain't worried about Kamala Harris and Joe Biden selling this country down the river. That's not her. she's stuck on some stupid thing that the mainstream news has got her scared about, and sounds to me like she's not willing to listen to the facts. Because I guarantee she probably thinks the mainstream news is out there for us, on our side, telling the truth. They don't want him in office. They're not going to tell you the truth. They so much say it all the time anymore. They don't even try to hide it. You can tell every time they have an interview with him. They want to try to get all these gotcha things and want to argue with him. Instead of asking questions, they want to actually argue with him. They don't do that with Kamala. That right there ought to tell you something, because that woman lies a lot. So, Papa, all you can do is show her the facts. It's up to her what she does with them. Yeah, that's right, Katie. That's the whole idea of the states having more control than the federal government. The federal government needs to shrink a lot. There's some things it's good to have, but that they've gotten so far away from the original uh, purpose of the federal government, and that was all done by design. They wanted to do that. That's the problem with the two-party system. There's a lot of corruption that comes with that. So I'm all for term limits on the Congress people, Congresswomen, men and women, and the senators and their staffers, because they say a lot of times this country's not ran by these people, because a lot of times, like if they're a new senator or congressperson, they get in there, they don't know what's going on. It's their staffers that actually runs the deal for them, and they're just like the talking heads of the office, but the staffers do all the work behind the scenes. So it's the same. It's like Joe Biden's not really running anything. It's his staff. And his staff probably takes orders from Obama still. Just a guess. But it's probably true. Because no, Kamala ain't giving no orders. It's funny how one hand, she said she's helped Joe make all these major decisions in the country. Last one in the room with him. And then she says she's not been part of anything that Joe's done. And then she'll say in another interview, there's not a thing that she would change the Biden administration has done while she's been part of it. So it depends on who she's talking to which story you get. Now, if you can't show the two different versions of that, you know what I mean? Then I don't know how to help somebody like that. Yeah. Well, Katie, that's what I always say about connect the dots. It's kind of like the big court case in the Southern District of New York. Now, who in their right mind who's working for the Department of Justice quit that to become the second chair to the prosecutor to go after Donald Trump? If it was not for, he was probably told by somebody, his boss, probably Merrick Garland himself, if not Biden, to go to New York and oversee this and make sure it gets done. And of course, it's already, all these court cases are just falling apart. They're all stupid. That 34 counts of that deal, that's never happened in the history of this, since we've had a legitimate court system. a legal system. That's never happened before. So it's like the dumbest stuff in the world. Well, Papa, you try not to get pissed. You should have pity on her that she is that delusional, and you should have you should have pity on your wife, not be mad at her because she. Let's see if I don't want to. I want to say this in a nice way. You and I are free thinkers. Just because somebody said something and it don't sound right, you probably go and look into it and do your own research. That's what most of us do who are right leaning, who, you get some people who will just believe whatever on the right, just as easy as some of the ones on the left. Although the left is littered with it. They're populated with this brainwashing, groupthink mindset instead of their own thoughts. And like take away it, you don't have to like Trump. Let's do it this way. Uh, Trump's a bully. Trump's an asshole. Trump's all kinds of things. But you know what? Uh, when these legitimate politicians are in charge, uh, we get stomped on by everybody in the world. Whether they take advantage of us financially, they take advantage of us militarily, just all kinds of dumb stuff they take advantage of with trade. Um, Trump may be an asshole. He may be a bully, but you know what? I'm not hiring him to be my best friend. I'm hiring him to take care of them people overseas, to let them know that as a U.S. citizen, we expect a certain kind of interaction with our world's leaders. And we don't get it with the Biden administration. We didn't get it with Obama. Obama made that apology tour all over the country, all over the world. Sorry, all over the world made this apology about America's intervention into the rest of the world. When this country has lifted more people up out of poverty and you know uh, civil rights, all kinds of stuff, human rights, than any other country in the world, and then have to go around the world and make apologies for us being us. It's kind of like how they talk about we ought to be, ashamed to be American because how this country got started. Well, all countries got started in a way of some kind of conquering issue over another people's. The people here were fighting each other when we got here. Just because we have the ability to conquer somebody better than the last person, uh, we do one thing most people don't do, and that's go in and try to make up for it. You know, takes time, takes knowledge. It's like the Civil War. A lot of people on one side was on the wrong side of history. A lot of people on and that was involved in that's on the right side of history. But over time, you know, even the people who are on the wrong side of history, their ancestors, the people today, uh, try to do better, try to make it better. That don't happen in every country. Usually, the government controls everything, and the government's trying to control everything here. But you know, we are a armed society, to which that will never happen, probably. Uh, you know, in the long run. Yeah, Papa. It's you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So if you show her all these contradictory things from what mainstream news says and what the president says and what Kamala Harris says, and you show them the opposite proof that what they're saying is out and out untrue, and she still wants to argue about it. The only thing, I mean, what's she going to do if he wins next week? Does she give you an answer on that one? Because, this is his second term. It's not like he's going to try to be the politician that tries to get reelected for another term. He's going to get in there and he's going to make some real changes, and it's gonna hurt the feelings of a few people. How's she going to deal with that? Write a letter about the situation from her heart. Sometimes people don't listen, but they'll sit down and read it. Well, the best thing you can do is listen. I was just saying that. Listen to everything they have to say. Don't try to interrupt. Don't try to just jump in there and then try to think you got to be right. Because see, they don't see it as you're right or you're wrong. They see it as, and this is the bad thing about it. They see it as you're evil. This is the first time in history that the other party's been called evil. And a lot of people on the left aren't evil. They're just misguided. That's the difference between us and them. They don't agree with what we think is the right thing to do, and we're evil. We don't agree with the thing that they think is the best thing to do. We just think they're misguided. What's your wife think about the immigration situation, Papa? I'm curious about that. I know you say she's stuck on the abortion issue. You know, if you've shown her that Trump says it's a state issue, not going to have nothing to do with him, and she still don't believe you, and she's see every time you watch the news, they do that Project 2025. Every time you hear Kamala, it's Project 2025. When he said at least 4 times that I know of, 4 different speeches that I've watched him, it ain't got nothing to do with him. He don't even know what's in the whole thing, because I think it's like 900 pages or something. He said he ain't never read it. Ain't got nothing to do with him. But they just don't want to hear it. Yeah, but question. I ask you a question again, Papa. What does she think about the immigration situation? Like I said, she's stuck on the abortion thing, but that's not even in the top 5, I think, of the concerns of what Americans are worried about. Most elections are won by whatever the top 3 subjects are, from what I read in a study. So what's 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, whatever, top 10 things, it's the top 3 things that wins elections. And abortion's not even in the top. So, but immigration and the economy, inflation is 1 and 2. And then crime is 3, I think. So, what does she think about those 3 things? Because that's kind of how they're losing. They're harping on subjects that the regular people who aren't brainwashed worry about. I was gonna say another thing, Papa. If she votes one way and you vote the other, that your household kind of cancels out the vote. I hate to say it, so it makes it like your house is neutral. One vote for each doesn't make a difference. So your household is kind of like it's not going to move the candidates either way because you have a positive negative, so they fight each other like magnets. She don't have a problem with all the financial ruin that is happening because of the immigration policies of this administration. The Venezuelan gangs taking over apartment complexes in Colorado, the Venezuelan gangs fighting the Chicago gangs for territory in Chicago, or all these people coming in under this temporary protective status. And it ain't just Haitians, that's just what's made the big news. Uh, changing the dynamics of the town that they're in, completely changing the whole environment because of the large amount that comes in and changes the population of the town. She doesn't have a problem with that. I mean, just the strain on the social programs should be enough to concern most Americans. Does she not care about what happens with her money when she gives it to the federal government? Yeah, but the ideologies, okay. That's why you have to have good arguments, okay? Because everybody, you know how it is. They say when you're young, if you're not a Democrat, you don't have a heart. But as you get older and learn a little bit more life, if you're not a Republican, you don't have a brain. Well, even the mainstream news, it's so overwhelming, they have to report it as a problem across this country. So you know how bad it is when the mainstream news reports on it. So it's kind of like the subject is lost as far as being uh, in the being looked at in a positive light, like any of this is a good thing. Well, Katie, it sounds to me like it ain't gonna matter what he says. Sounds to me like she's dug in, and honestly, a lot of these are dug in on this is because they're afraid to admit they were wrong. Some people are afraid to admit they were wrong. They're wrong, and they can't accept that. It's like is let me ask you this: is your wife going to be one of those ones that if he wins next week, she's going to drop to her knees and scream at the sun or the moon, whatever time of night or day it is? Is she telling you y'all got to move to Canada, where it's worse? Move to Mexico, where you can be killed or trafficked? I mean, it's crazy. Still, let me ask you this: she do early voting too? Oh, I'm assuming she did. But like I said, your all your all's votes canceled your household out, which is all right. That's kind of like neither one of y'all voting. Yeah, Ronnie. And that's why you kind of like can't be mad at them anymore. You kind of just like gotta listen to them and let them know that it's okay to be wrong. You know, we're all wrong all the time. We make decisions sometimes thinking it's the right decision, and it wasn't once you look back on it. But that's just part of being human. That's why you can't, to where it's so easy for them to demonize us. And this is where they always say we're the hateful side, we're the racist side, we're the bigoted side, we're this, we're that. When all actual hate I've ever seen has come from the left. Now, Papa, your wife can't defend that. If she thinks it's okay that the left treats the people who support Trump on the right as if it's okay to treat them as less than, then it's shame on your wife. She should be ashamed of herself. Well, Ronnie, that's where it's it's hard. You're not going to change people's mind this close to the election, more than likely, unless something pops up that is. They keep talking the October surprise. Well, the only October surprise I see now is them bringing out all the old recycled uh, demon-like stories that has been said about Trump over the years, and everything she said in one of her last rally speeches, every single comment she made was incorrect, but nobody fact checks her. When even the mainstream news, in their own words over the years, some of them has you know admitted to something not being true, but yet they want a fact checker on her. They let her say what she wants to say and don't say nothing about it. So to me, that's evil. Well, Papa, the only thing you can do, like I said, if she voted for her and you voted for him, uh, you wiped out your guys' vote. Your house is neutral. It's like neither one of y'all voted. So it won't change the directory of who's going to win one way or the other. So, that's a shame that your household is going to be neutral on this. So it didn't make a difference. Now, if one of y'all would have voted and the other one didn't, that would have been worse. So if it has to be this way, I'd rather have it be this way than if, say, you didn't vote. It'd have been nice if she didn't vote, but she has the right to vote, so you can't say that. Let her vote whoever she wants to vote for. It's just that you can't keep. Does she? It's funny because she's so against Trump that she feel like she married the wrong man or something. Because people have gotten divorced over this subject. It's so funny. I tell you a story. I told this some live streams back. Uh, my mom used to be vote blue no matter who. She was a staunch Democrat. And I've always been a conservative kind of person, even back in junior high school. When we got into politics and, with American history and social studies and all that, and we do like mock elections and all this other stuff. It's like when Jimmy Carter got in office, I knew it was bad. And then the first election I was ever old enough to vote in, I voted for Reagan. And my mom, it's so funny because we'd get in our conversations about who's right and who's wrong. She couldn't believe she raised a son that thought the way I thought. I was heartless. That she was all about the social programs and all this. And I'd always tell her, it's not about the social programs, it's whether or not we can afford it or not. Nobody wants to pay more taxes, but yet with all these social programs, you're going to be forced to pay more taxes to keep up with the amount of money the government wants to give to other people. And I get it, some people need help, but they make it too easy. They change the whole dynamics. It's kind of like these abortion centers being in the areas that they're in. They're doing this on purpose. The Great New Deal replaced men in the household for the government being daddy. So as long as if you had a child and the father of that child wasn't in the house, you got a check. That was the only requirement. Is the man of the father of the child didn't live with you, so it became the system to live by. Well, then it got to be overwhelming, and even for Clinton's credit, he tried to put make it a little bit harder and put time limits on that. Well, it kind of went to the wayside. That got later on. That kind of just got voted out, and then it got easy to be on these social programs again. And now it ain't so much the U.S. citizen being on all these social programs because it's even harder for them to get it now. The reason being is because there's no money left. All the money's being spent on all these undocumented newcomers and the people here legally by invitation of our federal government under temporary protected status. So, and that was all done by executive order. None of this stuff got approved through Congress. None of this stuff. And that's kind of how the last, even Obama, uh, Trump, Biden, they all have to do everything through executive order because Congress is broken. Nothing can get done through Congress anymore. Now, they're saying that there's going to be this red wave that if Trump wins, so shall all the people on the right, because they may not been able to win on their own, but Trump seems to carry a lot of the right with him. When he wins, they get voted in too. So that means if that's the case, he's going to have Senate and the House together. If they don't make some serious changes in the first 2 years, because you know how it usually works, the midterm elections usually changes the dynamics again, and usually we lose one or the other, the House or the Senate. Yes, they do need a major overhaul. And if Trump does win and he has control over the entire Congress, they got to make some meaningful change in the first 2 years. They can't just run on all this to try to get elected and then do nothing. If that happens, Republicans will probably never win another election. But if we can show meaningful progress, make the lives of the United States citizen better, then it's going to be a very, very long time before a Democrat will ever see office again. And I believe that. Yeah, Katie. Now, saying that, like I said, my mom was vote blue no matter who. And I don't believe in voting red no matter who. But I do believe that if they're claiming they support Trump, that you have to take them at their word until they get in office and say something different or do something different. You'd have to think that the Republicans are in a different environment today than they was 8 years ago. The Republican Party, as we knew it before, is kind of dead. There are some holdovers, but they're not going to last. They're not. They're going to be so easy to be called out on if Trump wins. And it's going to be kind of like scorched earth, which is a good thing. The whole system needs to be revamped. But I said it before, we have a dream team that's getting ready to come in office. It's like, remember when they said the dream team in the Olympics, when the basketball team, when the first basketball started being in the Olympics, or they allowed professional athletes to be in the Olympics. But anyways, you got Elon Musk, who's one of the smartest people in America, who says he wants to help the administration with government waste. That's a good thing. Now, saying that, you can say that he's probably going to be capable of pointing out all the waste probably with quick haste. The question is, what is Congress going to do about it once he points these things out? Because some of it's going to hurt. You know what I mean? Change hurts. So some people are going to have hurt feelings over that. They're going to be butthurt, but it's going to be a necessity. So even though he can find all the things that we are wasting their money on, are they going to be willing and have the heart and soul of being able to do the right thing and take what he finds to heart and make those meaningful changes? It's still, it's yet to be seen. Yeah, Katie, I'm on Elon Musk. I was getting a Tulsi and I was getting RFK. Tulsi, she's going to be more than likely part of his foreign policy, making sure that we stay out of trouble. We don't stick our foot in where we don't belong and help get us out of some of the stuff that we're involved in that we shouldn't be involved in. Bring some of these troops home. We don't need, they say we're the world's police. We know we have the United Nations for that. If Trump gets back in office and starts making these other countries pay their fair share again, and which if you listen to the Democrats, they say, oh, how awful Trump treated our allies. Are they really our allies? If they're not paying part of their fair share of the bill that supposedly is the world's police, I don't need friends like that. I don't know about you guys. Yeah, Katie. I'm not for sure where they're all going to fall in at, but they all have their strengths. And Trump is very good at putting people, at least in his businesses, the people, he didn't know politics. I'm going to have to, he did okay in his first term, but he didn't do enough in some cases. But he had all the Democrats and half the Republicans against him when he was in office the first time. This is a different world today. So if all Republicans are in charge and they want to fight him over stuff in the first 2 years and stuff that'll get done, like I said, the Republicans won't win another election for a very long, long time. But hopefully that won't happen. You gotta hope that this is a completely different environment as far as the government. RFK. It's like I'm a big guy. I've been a big guy all my life. When I was in elementary school, I was the only fat kid in class. Then in the 90s, they did a study to where 30% of the U.S. School age children were considered overweight or obese. Now it's 50%. Now I know lifestyles have changed because even, back when I was a kid, when you got home, if you wasn't at school, get the hell out of the house, go ride your bike with your friends, go play, go do something. There wasn't no sitting in front of the TV and all day or whatever, playing video games. There wasn't none of that when I was a kid. But I was still big. To me, I'm gonna blame it on genetics because my mom was big all of her life and she worked hard and she never lost no weight. I never see her overeat a lot. Like me, I'm not a food. I like food like everybody else, but I'm not obsessed with it. You know what I mean? If I miss a meal, I miss a meal. I don't care. It's not a big deal to me, but I'm still big. It's harder even now to keep the weight off because my body, I'm kind of immobile. I have a hard time walking, have a hard time doing a lot of things. So I'm not as active as I used to be. So I really have to watch what I eat now. But if all the food has all these contaminants in it, these plastics, these hormones, RFK has some real solutions. But like I said, it's going to hurt. Some people are going to be butthurt over it. Some food companies are going to have to change the way they do things. And and they won't change unless are the federal government behind those decisions to make them change. But it takes the will of the politicians to make it happen. So we can hope that all the promises that they're making, that they have help fulfilling those promises. But if they don't have help and they have people sabotaging them every which way they are looking at things, nothing will change. But hopefully, we're going to vote enough right people in uh, that it's going to work. You know, we'll see what happens. I'm not going to take a breath till January 20th. January 20th happens, then I'm going to say, all right, we're on the path to recovery. And that's how I feel. I feel like this country's been sick for the last few years. So if we can get on a path of recovery financially, emotionally, mentally, and get jobs back in this country, because everybody talks about the climate change thing, which ain't even in the top 10. Did you know that? Seems funny how when people have a hard time putting food on the table, climate change is not as important as it used to be. But let's be real. Climate change is, people say, well, Republicans are climate change deniers. I ain't denying it. Climate's been changing since before any of us was walking on Earth. This Earth has changed climate. We've had two ice ages. We've had heat. We've had all kinds of different things over beyond the years that any of us and any of our ancestors can tell you about. This goes back way back in the day with cavemen and dinosaurs and everything, but the world's always changing. Now, saying that, they're claiming our emissions is the problem of why we have climate change today or the acceleration of it. All right. Well, saying that, who's the largest producer of pollution in this world? Yeah, Katie, the autism thing, that's another thing. And that's probably something in the food too. I believe I've heard RFK say something about that because autism used to be a rare thing, super rare. Now, like you said, it's 1 in 22 children. That's a problem. That means that the stuff that their parents are consuming uh, is contributing to the emotional instability and the mental instability of their children. That's bad. Hopefully, and it's not going to happen. If they made the changes tomorrow, we may not see a difference for a decade or better, but there will be an eventual difference. Yeah, Katie, the military uh, industrial complex, as they call it, yeah, they do far more damage than any of that. But the thing is what I was getting back to on that. If you're truly worried about climate change, then you need to take the ability for two certain countries that pollute the earth the most, China and Indonesia. So if you're really worried about climate change, people seem to think that because we don't make things here or because our US government stops oil drilling here, that it doesn't happen. It happens all over the rest of the world. Nothing stops. They're not, they putting their foot on the gas, not the brake when it comes to this kind of thing. China keeps buying more and more uh, coal, building coal mines, and and even now in South America, they're trying to do it. Different abilities to take the minerals and materials out of the earth to do certain things. Sorry, I couldn't get it out. Yeah. So if you're truly worried about climate change, and these things are still you don't mind if this is the funny thing, you don't want America to make these things because it's hard on the environment, but yet you don't mind buying those certain things that is far worse being polluted in the Earth's atmosphere by being manufactured in a country like China or Indonesia. So if you truly care about climate change, the best way to combat that is to build it here. We are the cleanest manufacturers, one of the cleanest in the world. So, and that would take the ability for those countries to pollute because they're not making those products anymore. So if we start making more American products, then it's good for the earth. It only makes sense. For anybody who wants to argue against that, I don't know what to tell you other than open up a freaking book and learn. Yeah, I didn't get the jab either. Papa, I don't begrudge anybody who got the original vaccine, because we don't know until we know things. It's just the way it is. But the boosters, they've done proven that the multiple boosters that were being given out was causing people to just fall out, hurt themselves far worse by just passing out or having some kind of heart arrhythmia or something like that. Young people that never really needed to get the jab in the first place, or especially any boosters, creating problems with them. So, you know, it's they kind of they try to take the choice away from us when it should have always been the choice because they talk about my body, my choice when it comes to abortions, but they don't say that when it comes